and this one is a cooperative dungeon crawler where players are going to be choosing their character at the start of the game. Each character is going to have different stats, skills, and gear that they're going to be starting with, but that could be upgraded throughout the game. Players are going to be choosing a scenario along with its final boss, and then you're going to be building up the dungeon by creating different decks of cards and then stacking them on top of each other to represent the different levels of the dungeon. Each one of these levels is going to have different gear and monsters in them, as well as a tome card which causes an effect and also provides narrative for that portion of the dungeon. And then once you get through all these levels, you'll be going up against the final boss because that card is going to be put on the very bottom. On a player's turn, they can pay their action points to activate or equip new cards from their hand onto their personal player board in order to perform different actions. Weapons will allow you to roll a certain number of dice in order to attack monsters, and defeating monsters is a good thing because you'll be able to keep those cards and then slide them into whichever area you want onto the side of your board in order to upgrade that specific stat. Players will then draw cards back up to their hand size, which can gain you new cards into your hand, but as you're drawing these cards, you might also draw different monster cards. And when this happens, the monsters are going to go onto the monster board, but each of the monsters will have a different level of perception that makes them more difficult to see, and depending on your character's perception, you may not be able to find those monsters. And of course, you won't be able to attack what you don't see, so they will be able to attack you, but you won't be able to attack back until you're able to raise your perception high enough. And during the monster's turn, you're going to be rolling a die to determine what the monsters do. They could attack the players or the players' companions, or they may cause the players to have to discard a number of cards from their hands. Get through all the levels of the dungeon and defeat that final boss, and you win that scenario.